This is a speech given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1957. As you know, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the seventh Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel, he took over in 1950 when the previous Rebbe passed away. And he would give regularly, very regularly, he would give speeches, especially on Shabbat. The people would remember.
Can you move a little bit this way?
Yeah, sure.
This one you centered better.
Good?
The other way, yeah.
Good. But this was one of the speeches that the Rebbe gave, not necessarily wasn't on Shabbat. This was, even though it happened to be that it was on Shabbat. But this was on Chav Dalet Tevet. Chav Dalet Tevet is the day that the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, it wasn't called Lubavitch then, it was called Chabad, just Chabad alone. And after that, the first Rebbe's son, he settled in the town of Lubavitch. So it was called two names, Chabad and Lubavitch. Chabad is called because of the philosophy that we have. Unlike any other group in Judaism, Chabad has two names. One is Lubavitch, like all the other names. There's Gur, and there's Slobodka, and there's Panovich, and there's Belz, and there's Satmar, from the city where they were. And Chabad is no different. We have also the name Lubavitch. They're called Lubavitch because that's where the Chassidic Chabad were. From the second Lubavitcher Rebbe on. Second Lubavitcher Rebbe, he started being second Lubavitcher Rebbe when the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, which was his father, passed away. And that was in 1813. Oh.
That's it.
You're famous.
It's like a cameo.
Right. So this is a sikha which the Rebbe spoke. A sikha means a speech that was given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1957, but it was about the first Lubavitcher Rebbe who passed away in 1813. I think 1814. And was incidentally passed away when he was running from Napoleon, because he was a big enemy of Napoleon. The first Lubavitcher Rebbe. And he passed away on the Hebrew date of Chav Daled Tevet, the 24th day of Tevet, which from today is 10 days. 10 days, 9 days. And a lot of people go to the grave of the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, which is found in the city of Hadich, which is in the Ukraine. Now it's in the Ukraine. It's called the Ukraine. And to commemorate this day, this great day, because we say that the day that a tzaddik, a great holy Jew, passes away, that there's a lot of holiness, a lot of a lot of motivation is revealed in the world to do good things. Let's go. Echad, one Tamim of the reasons, Lakach, for this fact, Sheyeshnam, that there are Tzadikim, Sheyom Istalkutam Uyom Simcha, that the day that they pass away is a happy day. Who Mishum is because Shebashad Istalkut, at the time when they pass away, Nishalemet is completed, Tachlit Shel Yeridat Hanashama, the purpose of the descent of their soul, Lamata, in the world. Very big principle in Judaism and in life, that nothing happens by accident. But Judaism says even more, that the creator of the universe makes everything happen for our benefit. for us to react properly, because God wants us to be his partners. That's a basic of Judaism. God wants man to be his partner. So God makes things happen in the world to see how we will react. Not much. It makes things interesting. Not much unlike sports. How many billions, trillions of dollars are paid to watch football and basketball, because things are always changing. You never know exactly what's going to be, and it's a big challenge to meet with these changes and to deal with them. So that's what really every moment of life is. But not many people keep in mind the real purpose of life. They get distracted by more physical things. Oh, what's this? Very good. Huh?
Because the thing is wobbling. It does.
Okay. Good. Well, let me just close the door.
Future, we need to set this on something that doesn't...
Yeah, stable. Okay. Good. Ready? Here we go. Echad, one Tmimim of the reasons that there are tzaddikim. Sheyom histalkutam, that the day that they pass away, hu yom simcha, is a happy day. Usually it says that when evil people pass away, everybody's happy because they don't make any more trouble. But there are some people that when great holy people pass away, it's a very happy day. Of course, the ultimate day is Lag BaOmer, the day that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai passed away. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wrote the Zohar. In a way, there was never anyone more holy on the face of the earth than Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. But the first Rebbe of Chabad was a different type of a holiness. And his day that he passed away is also a happy day. Why? Because the day that they passed away, he neshalemet is completed tachlit sharida, the ultimate purpose of the descent of their soul into the world. In other words, they did the ultimate amount of good, and that good remains. Because another basic principle in Judaism is good things are eternal. If a person makes a mistake, does sins, does bad things, as those things are only temporary. Of course, if God forbid you do something bad to another person, then it lasts as long as that person, the injustice remains. The injustice. But nevertheless, injustices and bad things can be erased. And none of that, they can be transformed. A person says, the reason I did these bad things is because I wanted to. I like to. I enjoyed it. Now I have to ignore those impulses of I do what I like and do what I want. And I have to think of what's right. So that pushes him not to pay attention to your own urges. It takes a very big effort. Very big. Not to do it is a tremendous victory. Ask anyone who was an alcoholic or a drug addict and they got out of it. They'll tell you that they defeated the dragon. In a way, it was, in a crazy way, it was worth it. It was worth the addiction. It was worth the thing. They would never go back to being addicted again. But the fact that they summoned up the power to overcome it, as revealing that new power, is a tremendous accomplishment. Maybe that's the essence of humanity, to overcome one's lower natures. Kavanat Yeridat Neshama, the purpose of the soul, descent of the soul in the world, is, like it says, Yerida L'Tzorech Aliyah. The day that the first Rebbe of Chabad passed away, over 200 years ago, 250 years ago, in his time of this, over 250 years ago, is a happy day. Why is it happy? Because he completed the purpose for which souls come into the world. Why do souls come into the world? Souls come into the world in order to be elevated. Not only themselves, but the world around them. We'll see. Al Yadei, by means of Avodat Neshama, by means that the soul works, serves God, B'limud Torah, by learning the Torah, B'kiyum mitzvah, and doing the commandments, B'yoto Lamata, when he is below in the physical body, Hi Megi'ah, the soul itself reaches L'darga na'alit, to a higher level, yoter, more mi'oto madrega, than that level, bo hayata alamayla, than it was above, before it came in. The music that you hear in the background is not part of this video. It happens to be that Yeshiva Ohr Tmimim is also on the campus where there is a yeshiva for small children also, and that's what the music is. But it's nice music. B'terem Yerida Sibmata, before the soul descends below, Chutzva mitachat kisei kavod, the soul was carved out from under the throne of God's glory, which that's a Kabbalistic level, which is the level of Bria. It's Ulamaylam is even higher. V'adayan ein zeh megia, but still the soul, as it was before it came into the body, does not in any way reach le'ilui, to the highness, shemasiga, that it reaches al yadei avodata lamata, when it comes into a body and serves God. Simply speaking, when the soul is in heaven, so it doesn't have any challenges. There are no challenges. So it doesn't really have to use any free will. It just feels good all the time. So that's a pretty good state to be in. So, but there's no responsibility. And God wants us to be in this world. I don't know why He decided that way, but that's what He decided. He wants us to be in this world, and that we have responsibility to correct the world. Fix the world, or make the world a perfect place. Aliyat haneshama, the elevation of the soul, ba, comes kishemasayim kol avodata, when it finishes all of its service, shayatam mutelat, that it was put upon it, laso, to do in the physical world. Lefichach, therefore, nechshavet istalkut tzadikim, therefore, the passing away of tzadikim is a happy day. Because tzadikim arivadai, certainly palu v'saimu, they did all of their work. Ubeshas istalkos, and at the time when the soul goes out of the body of a tzadik, masigim heim et eliyah hagavoh biyoter, they receive the highest of highest levels. Now, usually in Judaism, there's not, at least Chassidic Judaism, there's not much emphasis put on reward. Even more, if a person thinks about reward, then he's never really doing the best he can in the work. He's not really feeling the true depth and beauty and value of what he's doing, because he's always doing it for something else. Right? A person who's working in a factory making cars, and he's doing it only for money, so he never really thinks about how wonderful it is that he's making cars and how people can travel with these cars, and the cars will work. They can take their families, they can take their children to learn, they can, right? The society becomes mobile, but they don't think about that. They think about the money. Am I getting the money? As soon as they don't get the money, then they want to quit because they feel that's worthless. But really the fact is that work in itself should have more meaning in it. And this is the best example. A person comes into the world in order to serve the Creator of the universe. When the soul is in heaven, he's serving himself. The soul is getting all this pleasure. When it comes into the world, you can actually serve the Creator. You have a free will, and you're actually independent, and you can choose to serve the Creator or not to serve the Creator, if you want to. Now, you might think to yourself, listen, maybe it's better that God should have just left the souls up in heaven and stop messing around and putting them down in the physical world. It's terrible down here. It's very disappointing. Very cruel world that we live in, a lot of pain, a lot of difficulty. And that's a very good point, because in the Talmud it says that it might be better that a person should not have been born. But the fact of the matter is that God did put us into the world, and He put us into the world for some sort of a eternal purpose that we could not have achieved in the heavens. So if a person comes down to the world and he stays here for 80, 90, 100 years, so in that time, he accomplishes something that cannot be accomplished in any way, in any world that gives pleasure to God. So if we would have just stayed up in heaven, we would have gotten pleasure ourselves. But now we give pleasure to God. Okay? Because Shebakol Shana, every year, Chozrim, it returns, Nishanim, and repeats, Otom Inyanim, those same things that were the first time. Hari B'Kol Shana, every single year, Yom HaHilula Shel HaTzadik, the day of the passing of the Tzaddik, is a great happy day. Because it signifies the reason why man comes into the world, that we can actually accomplish something in this world that cannot be accomplished if our soul would have been staying in heaven. Namely, we make God happy. And the soul itself, because it's a part of God, and it's also a creation of God, so the soul benefits. When God benefits everyone. When the king's happy, everybody's happy. Simcha, hanigremes, midavar chadash, the happiness which comes from a new thing, shalom yabolam, that never existed before, a new invention, he gadol yoter, this is greater, misimcha habon midavar shekavar haya, from happiness from a thing that already was. Even though
Could you say that line again?
happiness that comes from a new thing is greater than happiness from a thing that already was. Right? You hear a music that you've heard before, but you love the song. Makes you feel good. But if you hear a song the first time, you never heard it before, and you like it the first time you hear it, this is a new thing. After that, you're also happy to hear it, but not as much as you were that first time. Who is that singer? Gee, that's wonderful. I can't do the right. A person receives something new, a new present, right? A person gets a new pair of clothes. He makes a shechianu. The next time you put it on, it's not as happy as anymore. It's not as happy. A new thing makes a person happier.
It seems kind of interesting. When we're in heaven before we're born, we're shown around everything. We know the Torah. We're taught Torah. And then an angel comes and touches us, and we forget everything. And one of our tasks, we come down into this world, is to remember what we already knew. And this is like learning something for the second time, but yet it's more wondrous to us.
No, because here, there's the novelty here is that it's difficult. It's difficult, right? A new thing is more, like take an example. People pay millions and millions of dollars to go to baseball games, soccer games, sports games, when they could just sit at home and wait for maybe even a day.
And watch it.
And watch the whole entire thing from the beginning to the end.
But then it's also.
But then it's not new.
But then it's also like studying the Torah. Every time you study it, you see more and more and more.
Right. That's right. That's right.
I don't have the answer to any of this, but it's very.
No. So the idea, when a person is taught the Torah, in the soul, it's not in the heaven, right? He's taught the whole Torah, so he knows that this thing exists, but he hasn't really brought it into this physical world. It's like they say that Einstein said that, how did he get his theory of relativity? And this, he said, God doesn't play dice with the world. His idea of God was a little bit different than Jewish idea, but anyway, he said God doesn't play. In other words, the world is a creation, and it cannot be arbitrary. There has to be something. So in other words, he sensed that there was something there, as though he already knew it beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But he just brought it out into reality.
Yeah, by dice he means it's not left to chance.
Right. Doesn't not left to chance. So there must be a system, and he wanted to figure out what the system was. Happiness, which comes from a brand new thing, usually the example is brought that there's a king. Once upon a time there was a king, and he was very depressed. He was bored. So somebody came in and brought him a crow. He said, "What's a crow? What's this?" And the crow said, "Good morning, Your Majesty." He said, "Whoa, how did you do that?" This must be ventriloquism. And the crow says, "It's not ventriloquism, it's me. How are you, Your Majesty?" So, well, this is just I can't believe this. And the king is happy. Right? The king is happy. If he comes the second time, he's not so happy anymore. Right? There's a story about the Baal Shem Tov. Maybe the first story I ever heard of the Baal Shem Tov. That there was once a little Jewish boy that was a baby that was left by his parents. They ran away, and there was pogroms, and they left this little baby at the doorstep of a Gentile farmer, Early in the morning, they ran away. The Gentile farmer woke up in the morning, his wife, and they didn't have any children, so they adopted the baby. And when the boy was like 12, 13, 14 years old, the father took him into town to see the town, and the little boy saw Jews walking through the streets early in the morning. It was Rosh Hashanah. So he kept asking his father questions about the Jews. And his father says, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's look at other things. What's this obsession with the Jews? Finally, they went home, and the child didn't eat. He really wanted to know about the Jews until his adopted mother, of course, foster mother, said, you're a Jew. We found you. We found this little note. You're a Jew. So the boy said, thanks a lot. Went to sleep. That night he pretended being asleep. And he took a little bit of a loaf of bread, and he left the house in the middle of the night and ran to the town, which took him several hours, through the forest. And he gets to the town, and he sees it's already starting to be morning, and he sees an old Jew walking through the street, and he follows him, and he goes to the shul, and there he sees in the shul everybody standing there with prayer books, and they're all praying, and they have prayer shawls, talis, and they're all praying, and they're weeping, and he thinks to himself, this is a Jew. I'm Jew, and I don't know what to do. Everybody's doing from his book, so I don't know what to do. So he said, listen, obviously they're reading something. I know what reading is anyway. One thing I know how to do better than anybody else is to crow like a rooster. I can imitate a rooster. So he's standing there, and everybody's praying, and this is the Baal Shem Tov synagogue. It happens to be Baal Shem Tov. So he cries out to God, I love you, God. I love you. Please accept my prayers. And of course, everybody wants to kick the kid out because he's a non-Jewish kid interrupting the holiest prayers of the holy day. It happens to be that day is Yom Kippur, right? So he goes, the Baal Shem Tov turns around and says, leave him alone, tell him to come up to me. And the whole prayer, Baal Shem Tov takes him under the talis. After the prayer, Baal Shem Tov said, you should know that there was a tremendous, terrible decree on the whole town, and that my prayers did not help, and your prayers did not help, and the innocent prayers of this little boy, that is what negated the decree. Good. So, in other words, an amazing, beautiful story. But that works only on the first year. The next year, if the child comes in and does go again, it doesn't go. The whole year, what have you been doing the whole year? Learn Torah, but it's not as genuine. Because it was the first time, that's the idea.
It's done from Bitul.
Huh?
It's almost done from Bitul.
Right. When something happens the first time, that brings more happiness. Kivan aval, but Shafilu biyom istalkus, even the day of the passing away, ein zeh davar chadash, is not a new thing. Ein b'zeh simchat tzuma. It's not a new thing. People pass away all the time. There's not the tremendous happiness as it is the month, the being chadash, habal the rishona. As a thing that happens the first time. If so, what is the happiness of the first Rebbe of Chabad? We'll see. Rov neshamos, right? People pass away all the time, unfortunately. Since Adam ate from the tree, since the sin of the golden calf, people pass away. Rov neshamos, the majority of the souls, the Torah Seinu, of our generation, Eino neshamos chadashas, they are not new souls. Behem ayu kavar pam, they already were b'olam hazeh in this world. B'meila asimcha mehaliyah shemit'alim b'shat istalku. Therefore, the joy that there is when these souls have finished their purpose in this world and they raise up to their source, it's not the first time because they've been in the world before. Eino kol gadol is not so great. Mishum she'eino bo etzalon, because it's not the first time it happened. Hem kavar hayu pam lamata. They already were, these souls already were in this world. V'nit alu beit istalkutom, and they go back up when they die. Now, this comes to the idea of reincarnation. Okay? Reincarnation. Judaism does believe in reincarnation, definitely does. And there's, according to mystical Judaism, a big secret behind reincarnation. And there are some people that could even tell which souls came into which bodies, how many times people were reincarnated several times, and who they were each and every time. One of those people was Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, the Arizal. So he told us also that most souls that exist now are fixing up problems that occurred in the previous generations. The generation of when the Jews worshipped the golden calf, the Jews that did other sins in the desert, the Jews that didn't want to go into the land of Israel, the Jews that sinned in the first temple, the second temple. All these souls come back into the world in order to fix up their sins that they did. Now again, what does it mean a sin? In Hebrew, the word sin is chet. What is chet? The word chet means to miss the point. There's a lot of people that come into the world and they get distracted by the world. The world drives them crazy. They forget that they're here to purify the world, to make use of the world, to do good things with the world. Instead, they make up their own Bible. What was good and bad. What's good is what feels good, so they say. Right? What feels good is good. What doesn't feel good is not good. So it makes a whole tremendous confusion in the world. And this confusion lasts until these people fix it up. Because even though that sins are not eternal, but not eternal means that they can be fixed up, but they have to be fixed up. It's not just a person does does sins and when he dies it gets erased. No, there are certain sins which last for a long time. In any case, souls, when they come back into the world and they pass away, so we can assume that they fixed up something. At least we hope they fixed up something. But still, it's not so happy because these souls have been in the world before. Hein emet, true, it's true. Shebakol pam, each time aliyat and neshama, the soul elevates ba'ofen acher, in a different way. Every time a person comes into the world, the soul gets a little more elevation. Keven aval, since sheklolos inyan aliyah, since this whole idea of the elevation already did happen once, ein a simcha kol כך gadol, the simcha is not so great. Lo kein nishmaso shel Adam shel Admor HaZaken, which is not the soul of the first Rebbe. Shayatan neshama chadasha, that the Alter Rebbe's soul, the first Rebbe of the first Rebbe of Chabad, he had a new soul. It was a new soul. Lifnei Admor HaZaken, before the Alter Rebbe was born, Lo hayata nishmato kalal ba'olam, his soul was not in the world. It was not a soul that had been tainted and disappointed and confused in the past incarnations by the world, the Mela. So therefore, be'et histalkuta, when the first Rebbe of Chabad passed away, haya simcha rabba, there was a tremendous joy, ugedola, and greater joy, mia simcha shayata, than there was at the time of the passing away of tzaddikim, of other tzaddikim, she'etzlam, that by them, lo haya inyan shel neshama chadasha, they did not have a new soul. Mishum, because shezeh haya inyan chadash, this is a new thing, the elevation of this particular soul was a new thing that had never happened before. Ka'amur le'el, like we said before, chozrim v'nishanim, that it goes back and repeats every year. Otam inyanim, those same things. That was the first time. That same joy that was the first time we can experience now. But Chol Shana, Yom Chavdal HaTeves, when it reaches the day of Chavdal HaTeves, Yom Patiras, Admor HaZaken, the day that the first Rebbe of Chabad passed away, Meir, there is shines, when Nimshach, and is drawn down, Ota Simcha Gadol, that same great joy. Every year, ba'ofen nalit, every year in a higher way. Shahayata b'shana, when the Alter Rebbe passed away in Tov, Kuf, Ayin, Gimel, 17, 18, 13, right? 18, 13, I'm sorry. 1813. And like I say, he was running away from Napoleon. He was we'll talk about that later, but he was All the other great leaders of Judaism of the time all favored Napoleon. Napoleon was for freedom, brotherhood, and
Good
the good time, right? Liberty, fraternity, and equality. Oh. Liberty, fraternity, and equality. Everybody was brothers. Everyone is equal. Beautiful slogans.
They still have that
Surpassed-
slogan in France.
Yeah. Surpassed only by the slogans of the communists. Right? Communists. In the end, he killed a lot of people for the sake of fraternity and and that was the big end. All the great Jewish leaders were in favor of Napoleon. He said that he would free them, which is not the case. The Tsar, the church, they were very oppressive. They tried to make everybody, forcing everybody to leave Judaism and to believe in what they were believing in. And Napoleon, his strategy was totally different. To destroy Judaism by being nice, which is the strategy of France today. Destroy Judaism by being nice, being open, being friends. We're all equal. So all the other great Jewish leaders were in favor of Napoleon because they said, let him say what he wants to say, but now we're going to be free to serve God. And it's going to be the glory of the Jewish people. The first Rebbe of Chabad said that it's true that Judaism will flourish tremendously. It says, Yoram Keren Lam Yisrael, Jewish people will be glorious and famous, but it'll destroy us spiritually. Something like what it was in Hanukkah. Bein Sharin Yanim, Porim Asimcha. One of the things that joy does is joy removes medidos v'agbalos. It removes limitations and boundaries. Simcha poretz getter. Don't think that you can only be happy when there is a reason to be happy. Of course, it's much better that way. But the fact is that when you are happy, it makes the reason. Being happy changes situations. A lot of times we're put in situations only because situations which are the opposite of being happy in order to try to find something good and to be happy. Happiness destroys all boundaries. A soldier, when he goes into fight, if he goes in with motivation, he's happy, right? Even though it's a terrible thing, people are going to be shooting at him, but nevertheless, he goes in with happiness as it makes a happy situation. And Bein Shapon Simcha. Yitain Kodesh Baruch Hu, may God only make it. Shekol Elu, that all these people, Sheyesh Lahem, that they have, Sheikhas, any connection, La'admor Zakin, to the first Rebbe, Bein Elu, whether these, Sheyesh Lahem, Elav, Sheikhut, Ruchanit, whether it is a spiritual connection, Sheholchim, or Chotav, that we go in his ways, and there's Chassidic Chabad, in b'maisa, in b'dibur, whether in action or in speech or in thought, bein elu shemotzim migeza shelo, all those people that are relatives of him. Ki'av zochel ben. A lot of people, l'lo evdo, without any difference, ma'u matzavo shel ben. What is the situation of the son? We're almost finished. It's almost to Kihari ben hu siyum Ish sheyosru etzlo kol amedidas bagbolos, because because the father, what the father did for the son is he gave him merit and removed all of the limitations. I'm sorry. This word is blotted out, and it's not ben, it is Cain. Matzavo shel ben. Kihari. No. It's a base. I'm sorry. Kihari benu, because it's his son. Sheyosru etzlom kol medidas v'agbalos, because you're in the family of the Rebbe, as that also helps. Like the same thing as Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. That Isaac and Jacob had the merits of their fathers. Sheyum shech lahem kol mitzarech lahem. May it be that all of the people that are connected in any way to the Rebbe, to the first Rebbe of Chabad, whether we learn as Chassidut or connected in any way, may God give them everything they need. Bein begashmis, whether physically or ruchnis or spiritually. Shetiyeh hamshacha lelo manios, that they should have a life without any be able to serve God without any difficulties. Ad me'era yirutz tavaro. Things should be successful quickly. We've suffered too long, the Jewish people. Yitain, may God only make it. Sheyu holchim borchotav, that we should walk in the ways of the first Rebbe of Chabad. He was the one that opened the channel that every Jew will be able to think about God, comprehend God, meditate, contemplate in the greatness of God, in the goodness of God, in the kindness of God, in the power of Hashem. Try to feel a little bit how Hashem is creating us every moment, how Hashem is making everything happen in the world. To try to conceive that everything in the world has meaning. As we talk about in the prayers in the morning, all the trees, all the flowers, all the rivers, all the rocks, everything is all singing out to God. B'machshava dibur ma'aser, in thought, speech, and action, ad b'chai yom yom, until even the basic things that you do in the morning, brush your teeth, eat your meat, drink your cup of coffee, anything, everything you connect to the Creator of the universe, because the Creator of the universe is creating it, and He's creating everything for a purpose. And even if you don't know the purpose, just believing that there is such a thing opens up your mind to new inspiration. Especially, you should learn the writings of Chassidut. That on this, Moser Admor Zaken, the Alter Rebbe, gave his life. And to conduct yourself in the conduct, the customs of the ways of Chassidut. And this then will continue the influence and the life of the first Rebbe of Chabad, and making it a happy thing, a brand new thing, every single moment. Have a good sleep.